Step 9, post-sale activities. Now, once the ownership's been transferred and your sales team has ensured that your total entitlement from the sale is assured, you're now free to look at the future beyond the business. The next phase is more emotional and psychologically draining than most people plan for. So with this program, you won't fall into that category though. Specifically, you want to protect the value you've extracted from your business. You want to minimize tax liability and exposures. You want to create low-risk, lifetime passive income opportunities. You want to establish structures to protect your family and future heirs. You want to consider options for staying active and nimble and relevant professionally, not necessarily for the money, but for continuing your own legacy. You want to evaluate opportunities for a second coming. Why? Because when you know and have executed and led all the principles and the ideas and the concepts and insights that you've led through your entire life, you'll want to have a second legacy. And so how do I know that? Because things like, it happens all the time. Bill Gates was a perfect example. When he exited Microsoft, he wanted to be a wealthy man doing good. But do you know that he's also gone back in residence for Microsoft after he left 5 or 6 years later? In other words, once you've done it successfully, there may be always a need for doing something very, very similar again. Something I do want to mention about getting back involved in having the second coming, and we'll talk about more questions later, is that are you a serial entrepreneur, or are you getting back involved immediately after you sell the company, or are you a founding business owner, and are you cashing out and truly retiring? There are a lot of factors that affect these decisions. I know in my own case personally, I know I'm a serial entrepreneur, and I'll get back involved within my industry, but not necessarily in the same type of business. I also want to emphasize your point that you need a team while you're doing the sales and acquisitions, but you also need a team to support you after the sale of your business. You'll need a financial advice from a qualified wealth advisor that specializes in distribution versus accumulation of wealth. Many of my investments are targeted for very conservative growth with maximum security for the principal. I've always made sure I live well below my means, and that continues even today, even after that cash windfall. I bought a couple of toys to play around with, but nothing extravagant. Me, my wife, and my now 11-year-old son love the water, so we got a few small water toys and a place to enjoy them not too far from here, and we actually spent the last year scuba diving in Grand Cayman, and that was truly freeing to be able to spend the entire summer with my wife and son and not working at all, but it wasn't anything that would deplete a major portion of my cash windfall. And so I urge you to get the right advisor after the deal is done to make sure that your financial security lasts for many, many years. I also want to protect that lifestyle so that the tax liabilities and exposures have been addressed by my attorney and my asset protection team, making sure that I use different corporate tax structures and different assets and different insurances. Now, I'm not going to get into the details, but suffice to say that you'll need multiple advisors and multiple coaches even after the deal is done to protect your assets. And finally, staying active and nimbly professionally has probably been the biggest challenge to balance with. So when you've been performing at a really high level for so many years, it's difficult to slow down and relax while at the same time keeping your mind sharp and relevant in business. So what I've found that works best for me is lots and lots of reading and consulting with other entrepreneurs. The reading keeps me up on current trends as well as growing my educational, and the hours consulting helps keep me abreast of the industries and challenges others are facing. This program here, this videos are a perfect example of keeping relevant and nimble professionally and staying involved at a high level while not compromising this fantastic once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to enjoy this other path of freedom, this other journey of liberation. And I strongly urge you to continue your own education in finding out how you can go about taking your business, growing it to the 8-figure level, and then selling it strategically to the right buyer so you can experience your own lifestyle of liberation.